All right. What's up, everyone? It's Elijah, and welcome to part 4 of 7 of the Google Ads for Dog Trainers series. In this video, I'm going to be giving you the exact landing page blueprint that we've used for our dog training clients over the last 2 years to generate about $2 million in additional revenue for these clients. I'm basically going to be teaching you guys everything I know about building high converting landing pages. Okay, but before we get into that, if you haven't watched video 1, 2, or 3 of this series yet, go ahead, pause this video, go watch those, and then come back to this. You will thank yourself later. All right. I can't stress the importance of watching all these videos in a sequential order. Each video builds on the next. Okay. With that said, let's go ahead and dive in. So, what is a dedicated landing page? It's a standalone, hyper-relevant page with minimal distractions and one objective. It's the page users go to after clicking your ad. Why it's preferred over a website? Well, there's really one word that sums it up here, and that is focus. We have to remember, guys, that the internet is a fast-paced environment, and people expect to get the information they need quickly with ease of action to get started. Which means for you to thrive in this environment, you must provide a relevant, frictionless experience for the user. Most websites have too many distractions, too many choices, and too much information. A landing page contains only relevant information and makes it easy for a user to take the next step. Less confusion, more clarity. So when you're taking someone to your website, there's so many elements on your site that are unrelated or unhelpful to our objective, which is getting this user to give us their contact information and become a lead. So when your website has too many distractions, things like blogs and social media links and YouTube links and newsletter opt-ins, it distracts our user from the objective that we have, which is for them to become a lead. We don't want them to read our blog right now. We don't want them to check out our social media page or opt into our newsletters. We want them to fill out a form or give us a call and inquire about our training services. Okay. Most websites have too many choices. So a lot of you guys have websites and there's 4 or 5 different calls to action within the website. You might have a form, you might have a client portal, you might have a self-scheduling calendar, you might have a survey, you might have a chat widget. When you have all these options, it makes it hard for someone to decide where to start. It makes things confusing, and a confused mind does not buy. As soon as you confuse someone and create a little bit of chaos in their mind, they're going to leave your page so quick. I'm talking 3 seconds. Okay, they're gonna land on your page and go, yeah, this isn't for me. Too much going on. I'm out. Okay. Most websites have way too much information, large bodies of text, irrelevant details. Okay, so when someone lands on your page, they're quickly scrolling and scanning to look for stimuli that is relevant to what their search query was. So they can go, oh, yep, this is what I need. Cool, boom, let's move forward. When you have 3, 4, 5 paragraphs on your About Us page about all this stuff, people are not, they don't care about that. They're not reading it. They're not, it's not important to them. Okay. Keep your text small, 1 to 2 sentence blocks, 3 sentence blocks. Use bullet points, things like that, right? We're going to talk more about that in a minute here. So most websites are simply just, there's too much. And ultimately, it takes away from what we want, which is focus. Okay, it creates chaos. And I have a little diagram here that illustrates that. So if you look here, most websites cause this within the user's mind. A great landing page causes this. Okay, so when most people go to your website, this is what's going to happen in their mind: a bunch of chaos, a bunch of clutter, a bunch of confusion. And as soon as you do this to someone's mind, which is only going to take a few seconds, they're gone. Forget about it. You lost them. With a great landing page, it's going to be simple, it's going to be clear, and it's going to make it easy for this person to go, oh, yep, this is for me. Okay, cool. Here's how I get started. Boom. So, what makes a good landing page? I have a few things listed out here. Let's go ahead and cover them. So, the first thing that makes a good landing page is simplicity. When in doubt, less is more. Most people think they need to add a bunch of information on their website. We need to add this. We need to tell them about that. Oh, make sure we add this piece of information. Oh, people ask this a lot, so throw that in there. Everyone is going to have a different conversation in their mind. Everyone's going to have a different objection or something that they're worried about or something. What one person is worried about or thinking of in the context of dog training and when they're on your landing page can be completely different from what someone else is thinking about and some other objections someone else might have. Don't try to please everyone with a bunch of information all over your landing page because what that's going to do is cause confusion and get someone to go, this is too much text, too much information. This isn't what I'm worried about. Let me move forward. You should be handling people's objections and questions and all that stuff on the phone call. Don't try to do that on your landing page. We're not there yet. Right now, our only goal with this page is to get them to go, oh, yep, this person recognizes my problem. Cool. This is how I can get started. We're just trying to get their contact information at this point. All these other objections and details that they might want to know should be handled when you're on the sales call with this person. Okay. Scannability. I touched on this a minute ago. People do not read, they scan, right? People are not going to be reading your 2 or 3 paragraph bodies of text. They're going to look right over it. They might scan through it to look for words that are relevant to what it is that they need, but avoid creating big walls of text. Relevance, where they are, where they want to be. So your landing page should resonate with where they are right now and where they want to be. And if you're not familiar with this, go ahead and watch the last video because that's where we covered all this stuff, okay? So your landing page should be very relevant. It should be simple, it should be scannable, it should be relevant, it should be credible, right? Go ahead and add trust building elements, things like reviews, things like certifications, things like awards, right? When someone's on your landing page and they're going through and you're telling them you could do all these awesome things for you, they might like to see that, but they don't trust you yet. They don't know you yet. By adding trust building elements like client reviews and things, they can go, okay, cool. They trust, they don't trust your company, they trust the people who you've helped, right? So social proof, certifications, awards that show that you can deliver on what it is you say you can are so important. Put that stuff on your landing page. Safety net. So a safety net is basically a way for you to reduce risk on your client, right? So when someone is on your landing page, you might have a nice simple landing page that's scannable, it's relevant to where they are and where they want to be, and you even have a bunch of trust building elements so they can actually be confident that you can deliver the result you say you can. But that still might not be enough. Some people might still have the conversation in their head of, okay, yes, I think this guy can help me or this gal, but what if it doesn't work out? What if I spend 3 grand and in 2, 3, 4, 5 months my dog regresses and now I feel like I've wasted my money and I'm back at square one? Like that's going to be a subconscious conversation that's happening within a user's mind. So if on your landing page you can add a section or something that is a guarantee or an implied guarantee, that is going to be what it takes to get that person over the edge to go, okay, let me try this out. Because even if it doesn't work out and my dog regresses, this company guarantees I'm going to get the result I want. This company offers free group classes where every Saturday I can take my dog there and get hands-on attention, and they'll help me bring my dog back to where it was before it regressed, right? And so like when you can convey to someone that they're going to get the result they desire, and if something doesn't work out, you have a safety net for them, that is going to be what gets them over the edge. Call to action. So your call to action is simply going to be the button that you have on your landing page. Okay, guys? A lot of people overthink call to action. Listen, it's very simple. Make sure it stands out and make sure it has some clearly instructed action written on it. Okay, so if your brand colors are green, don't make your CTA green. Make it orange. Make it a color that stands out so it's clearly visible for people, because that is literally how they proceed and how they become a lead, which is the main objective of this landing page. So make sure that button stands out, right? And make sure that the text within the button is actionable. Something like get started, something like train my dog, something like schedule a free consultation. And then lastly, here we have mobile responsiveness. So roughly 80%, if not more, of the users who go to your landing page are going to be on their phone. And so it's so important, it's more important that your mobile version of your landing page looks good than your desktop. Meaning, if someone goes to your landing page and and you haven't mobile optimized it yet to be responsive on mobile, and the text is ginormous or way too small, and the website just looks all cluttered and messed up on the phone, that's a big problem. So make sure when you build out your landing page, don't only do the desktop version of it, but make sure that it looks good on tablets and phones as well. Okay, because the vast majority of your users will be on their phones. Okay, so just to kind of summarize, before we get to this next part here, which I'm going to go over a bunch of landing page examples, and I think this is where you guys are really going to get a lot of value from this video. But before we get into that, I just kind of want to summarize what we've covered so far. So basically, we don't take people to websites because most of the time it's simply too much clutter, there's too much information, and often there's just a bunch of irrelevance that causes people to click away. We don't want that. With a landing page, it's the opposite. A landing page is simple, a landing page is clear, it's relevant, and people are way more likely to convert on a good landing page than they will on most websites. Okay. All right, what's up, everyone? It's 24 hours later. I got a new haircut, new shirt. I'm ready to dive into some landing page examples. So let's get right into it. So far, we've covered what a landing page is, why it's preferred over a website, and we have a list of some criteria that every good landing page should have. So now let's get into some examples. So we have 6 different landing pages here. I went ahead and reviewed them. I've marked them up, and we are going to review them together. Before we do that, I just want to say I am not here to make any of these companies look bad. I'm not here to bash any of these landing pages. This video is strictly for educational purposes only, and I really think you guys are going to get some value out of this. All right, so let's get right into it. Okay, so here we have the first landing page. On the left side here, we'll have the landing page, and then on the right, I have this list of what a good landing page should have, and we'll reference this list to judge these landing pages. Okay, so let's dive into it. It's pretty intuitive here. Everything in the green is going to be things that I like. That are in the red are going to be things I don't like. And then on the bottom here, you might notice this blue line that says ATF. That stands for above the fold. So everything that you see above this blue line is considered above the fold. And if you don't know what the above the fold section is, it's basically going to be the top section of your landing page. It's going to be the section that when people click your ad, the first thing they will see is everything that's above the fold. As soon as I scroll down, I'm no longer above the fold. Everything below here is beneath the fold. And this is something that's really important to know because the above the fold section is the only section that you can guarantee everyone who clicks your ad will see upon landing on your page, right? Once you scroll down here below the fold, only about 50% of people are going to get this far, let alone the very bottom. We're talking 5% of people might make it to the bottom of your landing page. Okay, so the vast majority don't go any further than just a couple scrolls down. So it's very important that you get your above the fold section right. You have to nail it, right? Because this is where you get your chance to win people over. All right? So let's dive into this landing page. Okay, so let's first go into the headline here. All right, so we have the headline. It says dog training in the San Diego area. Transform your dog in 4 weeks or less, guaranteed will come to your home. And I really like this headline. First thing is dog training in the San Diego area, right? So this is a call out to people who are dog owners looking for training in the San Diego area. right? And it's a subtle but important thing, right? Because if you didn't have this headline here, no one would know where this guy is located, aside from, the the city being in his logo. But for most of you guys, you probably don't have your city in your logo. And so without this, we wouldn't know where he's located. But by having this here, we can quickly know, okay, great, I'm looking for training. This guy's a trainer. Great, I live in San Diego. Cool, let's move on. Okay, it happens quickly in the user's mind, but definitely make sure you add your locations above the fold. Transform your dog in 4 weeks or less, guaranteed. All right, so what we have here is a great offer backed by a nice, what seems to be a good guarantee, right? Meaning, if you don't get these results, I don't know if they're going to refund people their money. I don't know if they're going to work with them for free. I'm assuming it's the latter. But regardless, they're giving people a really good offer here, right? And that falls into when we talked about safety nets, right? And so someone could land on this page and go, great, this guy can help me. He's in my area. Oh, and he promises to fix my dog in 4 weeks, and it's a guarantee. And he'll make it easy for me by coming to my home, so I don't have to do any extra work on my end. Right? And if you watch the last video, you'll know why that's important. So if you haven't watched video 3, go watch it, okay? So I really like the headline here. The few things I don't like is there's no phone number. Okay, you should have a phone number because, again, remember, a lot of people are going to be on mobile, right? And you should have a tap to call phone number on the top of your landing page, because a lot of people, even someone like myself, I prefer to just call most of the time. And so if I'm going to land on the landing page, I'll fill out the form if I have to. But if there's a number at the top where I can just tap it and it'll start ringing, then great. So you should have a number on the top right. They don't have a number up here. You probably should. And then there's no CTA button. Okay, so he has his video. It's a pretty good video. It absolutely helps him stand out from other trainers who don't have videos, but there's no CTA above the fold. Always, 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 always have a CTA above the fold, because now I'm required as a user, if I want to get started, I'm required to scroll down. And every scroll creates a little more friction for me as a user. And the more friction you create for me, the more likely I'm going to leave. So they should absolutely have a CTA above the fold. And then no social proof. So, it's fine to make a big guarantee like this and all, but also you should have some social proof somewhere around here, which will help support this great guarantee that you have. Right now, I wrote CTA here. This implies that there should be a CTA button. I would put one here, along with somewhere above the fold, but I would also put another one here. All right, then we have screenshot to outbound link. Okay, so this here is a screenshot of the location, or rather of his Google business profile, right? Its location, its reviews. But when you click that link, it takes you away from the landing page and brings you to his Google business profile on Google. The problem with that is remember, let me scroll up here. Remember the word focus, okay? We don't want to distract people with outbound links that take them to our YouTube, that take them to our Google business profile. The only objective of this landing page should be to either get a call from the user or have them fill out a form. Everything else is a distraction and it's not needed. So they should unlink this image here. Also, replace section with review widget. So they have 5 stars for 192 reviews. That's absolutely excellent. And they probably have more reviews than most people around them in their area, which is great. They should, instead of just uploading a screenshot here, they should have a nice widget that reveals the reviews that this company has. And so that way, while people are looking at their landing page, they can see what people are actually saying about the company instead of just seeing 5 stars with 192 reviews, right? Because what your clients say about you says a lot more than what you say about you, okay? And then also, I put here fantastic review ratings. This should be above the fold. So yeah, guys, like, this guarantee is awesome. This video is awesome. Absolutely make sure somewhere up here you put that you have 5 stars for 192 reviews on Google. Like, put that somewhere here, because that will really help support this offer that you have. And for most people, they won't need to scroll much further to be sold on your service. I mean, with this video, with this guarantee, with those reviews, that's really all you need up here, and a lot of people will move forward. So that's that. Let's go ahead and keep going. Okay, so what we have here, there's a couple things here. So for one, this could be one section. Okay, so we have two different buttons here, and they each take you to the same page. And the page that they take you to is filled with a lot of mm, redundant information that can be condensed into one section. We don't have to take people away to a new page for them to read about your adult dog training programs. This could be on one page with one section. That's all it needs. We want to reduce the amount of steps a user has to take on a page. So now I have to click on this button to go to a new page and then read about it, and then I'll go back over here where I can book a call. We don't want to take me away. Just keep me here on the page and condense this into one section. So by the way, I just noticed this. We're halfway down the page, and this is the first CTA that we have. This is way too far down the page. This should be like the third CTA at this point. But up until then, there's no call to action. There is no get your free price quote. There's none of that, right? Up until you get here. So this CTA is too far down at the bottom. Okay, so you can, but you certainly don't need it. Reviews are much more powerful. Okay, so what we have here, so at the end of the day, this is an about me section. And at the end of the day, most of the time, the goal of an about me section is to build trust with the person on your page. Well, I'll tell you right now, for one, most people are not going to read the about me section. There's usually too much text. And, right here, as we're seeing, like this is too much text, guys. This is what I was talking about earlier, where websites have large bodies of text and irrelevant details, right? Like this is a large body of text, and a lot of this stuff is simply just not important to someone who is on your page right now. To build trust, you'd be way better off removing this whole about me section and leveraging your awesome reviews and putting that here instead. That's going to do way more of the heavy lifting at building trust with someone who's on your page than your about me section that most people will not read. Like we have to remember that you have to think about someone who's made it to this point. Someone who's made it to your landing page at this point has gone through their life, recognized they have an issue with their dog, they've gone online to find a solution, they found you, and now here they are on your landing page. They're not so worried about learning about you, right? They have this dog who's resource guarding, right? They have a new baby in the home, or they have a dog they can't have people over anymore because their dog is just jumping on people all the time. They're frustrated. They're not so worried about learning about you right now. They want to know, what can you do for me? Do you understand my issues? Can you solve them? Can I trust you to solve them? And that is what you should focus on when you're creating these landing pages, okay? Let me go ahead and scroll down a bit here. All right. So this section, this again falls into the large bodies of text, irrelevant details. Okay, so what we're getting into here is information's not necessary, jargon and education would be better as part of an FAQ at the bottom. And even an FAQ is questionable. You really don't even need an FAQ. But for something like this, guys, like, he's using jargon like as balanced trainers, as if me, the average dog owner, has any clue about what a balanced trainer is. I don't know what that means, right? As balanced trainers, we are able to take great aspects from each style of training and utilize it where needed. And now he starts talking about the difference between positive methods and balanced training, using e-collars and everything. People do not care about this. Sure, some do, but the few who do will bring it up on the sales call, and that's when you should handle that concern, that objection. But most people are not thinking about this. Most people have no clue what balanced training is. Therefore, this is not going to be relevant for the vast majority of people who land on your page. And there's a ton of text here. This is just going to scare people away. People don't want to read all of this. Okay. So again, things like this should be handled on the sales call, not on the landing page. I would remove this entire section. I love that they have this little guarantee 100% satisfaction guarantee banner, right? And they even dive into some detail. So they're not just saying it's a satisfaction guarantee, they're actually giving you some specific detail as to how it works, right? We will help you for as long as needed at no extra cost. That's an awesome thing for someone to read because when I read this, I can go, okay, great. I'm going to spend my 3 grand. And if my dog ever, I know I'm going to make sure I do my part as the owner. If my dog ever regresses, they're going to help me out for free at no extra cost. Great. I can be confident I'm going to get the result I want. And they have 192 5-star reviews. So it's like, this person could probably help me. Okay. So what we have here, so simple, specific, less thinking. Get started by clicking the orange button below. Don't make people think, hold their hand. Okay. So what we have here is kind of a disconnect, right? Because at this point in the page, someone who's made it this far, you've captured their attention and they're pretty interested in what you have to offer if they've made it this far down the page. So now they're giving us the step 1, step 2, step 3, like here's how to get started, right? But the thing is you really have to be specific and you have to be very clear with how you direct people on your page. So when this says take a few minutes to complete the evaluation form, link below, there is no link right here. There's no link below any of this. And then down here, there's no link. We have a button, and I'm assuming this is the button that they're referring to, but there is no evaluation form with a link anywhere. The words evaluation form are nowhere here to be found, and a link is nowhere here to be found. I mean, the link is disguised as a button, right? But you can see how that's not intuitive. And so for someone who's reading this, they might get confused. What this should say is something as clear as get started by clicking the orange button below, or get started by clicking the orange button that says get your free price quote below. Be very specific, hold people's hand. Because if they read that, they can easily just look down and go, oh, this orange button that says this on it, perfect, let's go. Okay? It's simple, it's specific, it requires less thinking. All right, we want to reduce friction. All right, so that's example 1. Let's go ahead and dive into number 2. All right, so here we are, landing page example number 2. So right off the bat, okay, so really quick, let's first identify the blue line that represents the above the fold. Okay, so everything above this blue line is what you will see when you land on this guy's landing page. Okay, so this is the first thing people see. Immediately, big problem here. There's 3 different CTAs, all right, and one of them downloads you to, or rather requires you to download an app. No good. Should not have 3 CTAs. Probably shouldn't use WhatsApp, at least not in the context of this landing page here and what we're trying to accomplish. Should only have 1 CTA, right? So if I scroll up, what did I put here? On most websites, they have too many choices. Opt-in form, client portal, self-schedule, surveys. This guy's got 3 different CTAs. If we go down here, what makes a good landing page? Simplicity. Less is more. And in this guy's case, all you need is 1 CTA, right? With the exception of a phone number, okay? Should always have 1 CTA button and then have a phone number up there as well, okay? Which he does have on the top right. All right, now let's see. So only should be 1 CTA. And then this Google review image here, the reason I don't like it is I mean, I don't know whether or not he actually has 5 stars on Google or not. I'm assuming he does, unless he's lying to people. But if you have 5-star reviews on Google, you have to remember like Google is a very the Google is a very credible company and their product is something that we as consumers are very familiar with. So if you're gonna put Google reviews on your website, make sure you use a native Google review widget, meaning the review widget has the same colors that Google uses. That way it doesn't look like, because this is obviously not native to Google. These colors are not any colors Google uses, and they certainly don't have a white G. And so when you do this, people are sophisticated consumers nowadays, and they'll look at this and go, this guy could have just copied and pasted this anywhere. How do I know this is even real? Okay, so he probably does have 5 stars, but he's missing out by using this image. He should instead use a Google review widget that shows the Google colors and how Google's review interface looks. If that makes sense. Okay. So there's that. And then up here, we have the headline and the subhead with a green check. So we like them. 30 years of dog training excellence in Miami-Dade. So this is great. It's simple, right? So if you're looking for dog training, you're going to land here. We have some authority right out of the gate with 30 plus years. Dog training excellence. So if you're looking for a dog trainer, you know you're in the right place. This guy's a dog trainer and he's in Miami-Dade. So if you're in Miami, you go, great. That's where I live. Basic manners to complex training, proven results with lifetime guarantees designed to fit your lifestyle. So, one thing I like about this subhead is that it's short, right? This is actually something people will read. It's not some big wall of text that's going to overwhelm them. So, people will actually read this. And then within it, he also has a lifetime guarantee. So, he has a nice safety net there, right? So, that's good. Let's go ahead and scroll down. And also, he has a welcome video here, which I always am a big fan of videos like that because it just helps you stand out a lot and creates that transparency that people want in today's day and age, especially when you're potentially going to be taking care of their dog for a few weeks. Okay, so too much text, right? So if we go up here, most websites have what? Too much information, large bodies of text, irrelevant details. Okay, so with this is not scannable. People do not read, they scan. People are going to look right over this. They're going to see all that wall of text and just go, nope, and just keep on going. People aren't going to read this. You'd be much better off breaking this down into small sentences, condensing it down into small sentences, using things like bullet points, vector images, things like that, right? Short sentences, bullets, icons. And then he should have a CTA button here. The phone number is cool. I would absolutely remove this read more button. People are not going to read this, let alone more. And instead replace these two with just a nice big CTA button. Get started, you know. All right, so let's scroll down. So I love that he has all this proof. These looks like happy clients in action, which is fantastic. This is great. If you guys can capture videos of happy clients talking about you, absolutely do it and put those on your landing page. I put a red X on this text because you simply just don't need it. People aren't going to read it. You have videos here. People will be much more likely to click the video and watch it than they are to read this. You simply just don't need it. Again, less is more. So stock images. So I'm really against using stock images or AI images. And the reason for that is because in today's day and age, guys, people are sophisticated in how they consume services and products, right? And people are more distrustful, or rather, companies are more distrustful in the eyes of consumers than ever before. And so when you have what is obviously an AI image and what is obviously a stock image, it creates this wedge of distrust between you and the user who's on your landing page, right? And like I mentioned above, in regards to his video up here, like people crave transparency in today's day and age. And when you don't have images of you and your facility and your work van, then you are not being transparent as much as you could be, right? People want to see your facility. They want to see you. They want to, people will see these things and be able to imagine what it will be like for their dog. Like, right? So when someone's watching a video or looking at your facility and your images, they're going, can I see my dog working with this guy? Can I see my dog being in this environment? Right? And if you have a nice facility and if you have a nice trusting face, then people will feel that way, right? But when you have stock images and everything, it's just like people go, am I working with a shell of a company or am I working with, a business and a business owner, right? And then I would put a CTA there. So what do we have here? Okay, so this is kind of a big one, right? So up here, or rather, let's go down a bit. So right here, you can see he has book a free evaluation today. And to me, free evaluations are one of the best ways to create an easy offer that lets your client get in front of you, which is the best selling environment possible, right? So by offering free evaluations, it makes it easy for someone to get started and it makes it easy for you to meet up with that person in their home or at a nearby park and demonstrate your skills and ideally close the sale, which in-person evals tend to have like an 80% close rate. So free evaluation is great, but at the top here, there is no CTA that says book your free evaluation. And up here it says free consultation. Those are typically going to be perceived as two different things, right? Consultations, you typically going to be a phone call. Evaluations typically going to be an in-person thing, right? And so we have free consultation here. We have three CTAs that don't reference the consultation, but they also don't reference this free evaluation, right? So up here, there should just be one button that says book your free evaluation today. And so you can see how someone could be confused, right? Like I have all these buttons to choose from. One of these says free consultation. There's an extra button here that says book a free evaluation. And it's just like, where do I start? So this is exactly what I was talking about earlier, right? So instead of big walls of text, use things like bold headlines. Use things, small blocks of text. Use images, also known as like vector icons. This makes it so much easier for someone to skim through your page and actually read what it is that you want them to see. But when you put these big walls of text, you're going to miss the mark. They're just going to completely overlook it, right? With something like this, it's visually intuitive and it's easy for me to take in what they're trying to say. Again, I put red X's here, no stock images, big no-no. I removed the I would personally remove the number here. You simply just don't need it. Book a free evaluation today. Great. That's a good place to put the CTA. I'm glad they did that there. Here we have some reviews. That's awesome. I would add another CTA. And that is going to be it for everything on this landing page. There's a lot of potential here on this page, but there's quite a bit of mistakes that are absolutely killing his conversion rates. All right, so let's go to example number 3. Okay, so here we are, landing page example number 2. And I'm gonna try and speed this up a little bit. I can see how this video can get really long, really quick. So I'm gonna try to go through things a bit quicker here. If you're getting any value from the video though, leave it a like, leave a comment below, let me know what you think. Okay, first things first, we got the blue line here above the fold, so let's see what is above the fold. So everything here is what people will see upon clicking the ad. So first we have our headline here, #1 dog training, puppy training, and obedience training in Dallas, Texas. It's not too bad, right? So if people have puppies, this will resonate with them. #1 dog training company. I mean, that's saying a lot about yourself. And then it also says Dallas, Texas. So if you live in the area, you're like, perfect, cool, that's where I live. Then we have the subhead, transform your dog with a customized training plan today. I mean, I wouldn't use a subhead like that. I think the header and the subhead here are like a very safe play, not really great, not really terrible, just kind of vanilla. I would add some bullets. I would add some social proof, especially if you're going to claim that you're the #1 dog training company. Add some social proof elements above the fold here to help support that big claim you're making. Um, and then, some bullet points, to kind of expand on this, transformation you're promising me. And then we have the form here. So very straightforward. Schedule a free consultation, add your details. I really do like the CTA here, the text on the CTA. So if we look to the right here for call to actions, we want them to be easily visible and we want it to clearly instruct action. Okay. So the form in general is easily visible. If you can see this form, it's going to be pretty intuitive where the CTA is. So it's not like this CTA button needs to be some bright green color or something. It stands out. It's fine. But the text inside the CTA is what I wanted to get on talk about. So it clearly instructs action. Yes, please call me. Like that's a great CTA. So let's go ahead and scroll down. Okay, so this section here really doesn't need to be there at all. People will put carousels on their website to show, some media coverage that they've gotten before, different media platforms that they've been on, and other credible elements they'll put within this carousel. But as seen on Instagram is not something that's special, and everyone is on Instagram. As seen on Google, it's nothing special. It seems like this was just stuffed in there as like a filler to try and make the landing page look good. But really, to me, it's like you don't need this at all. I would remove this entirely. And instead, it looks like what I have here is this green arrow. So 1,000 dogs trained and 5-star Google reviews. So a million times out of a million, I would rather be putting a Google review widget. If these reviews are true, that's awesome. I would be putting a Google review widget here instead of this carousel. If this is trying to build authority and build, credibility and trust within the user, like this does nothing compared to what a Google review widget would do here, especially one that showcases 1,000 5-star reviews. Okay, that would do way more work in building some authority than being seen on Instagram or Google. Okay. And then looks like I have a little red line here. So this is just, a text formatting thing that I personally wouldn't do. It says dog train and everything is in caps here. Half of the word is in caps and the other half is in lowercase. I don't really see why they would do that. I would personally, change that. So we have a red X here, stock images, big no-no. Again, I went over that in the last example. Just creates a wedge of distrust between you and the user. Use real images, guys. Um, and then also we have two images here. You know, it seems like whoever did this page just kind of was lazy about it. Like, just throwing stock images up there, quick 1 to 2 words, throw some images up there and that's it. But this image here is, for one, these two images are different resolution. So, it kind of looks a little weird, but also like this is super blurry. You can hardly even see the guy who's in this image. And so it just doesn't look very professional. All right. And then again, no stocks, no AI equals distrust. Use real images. Transparency equals trust. Um, use real images, guys. I can't stress it enough. I would add a CTA here. Again, no stock images. Everyone who sees this knows it's just a stock image. You can replace this with your facility. You can replace this with, if you have a van that's wrapped. Like there's so much more you can do with this real estate here. And then I put too simple here. So for this, it's just this is one of the rare occasions where, though I put less is more, this is one of those occasions where it's like, this is too little. You need to add a little bit more. You need to give people a little bit more to look at and consider. But this is just there's just very little here. So I would expand a bit more on the services, on the benefits of those services, some differentiation between you and other companies. I love that they have the client testimonial video there. That's awesome. Okay, so here is what is supposed to be a Google review widget. And this is what I was talking about earlier, guys. Like by having like a real Google review widget with native colors. See how it says reviews verified by Google and it has the real Google logo? Like that's much better than in the last example where it's just clearly an image taken from Google and posted on your website. But using the native colors, having it verified by Google, like those are real proof of results. So I checked out this landing page a few times and I thought maybe it was a bug, but every time I refresh the page, there's supposed to be reviews here, but as you can see, the reviews are missing. So that's there's something going on there. And that doesn't look very good on your page, right? When you're asking people to read your reviews and there's nothing there. But yeah, this would have been way better up here, with the assumption that the review widget is working properly. Again, no stock images. People who see this know this is fake. They know that this is not going to be their trainer. They know this is not going to be their trainer. They want to see you. Use real images. I would add a CTA there. I love that they have all these videos. That's awesome. Okay, so we want leads, not blog readers. So right here we have recent dog training blog articles, and there's no reason to have this here on the landing page. This is not our objective right now. We want someone to give us their contact information to inquire about training, not read a blog. And if we scroll up here, when we're talking about what most websites have, too many distractions, blogs included. This is a distraction from the objective that we want, okay? So I will completely remove this from the landing page. And then down here, now we have, again, A newsletter opt-in. Most websites have blogs, newsletter opt-ins. Newsletter opt-in is here. We don't care about people reading blogs. We don't care about newsletter opt-ins right now. We want people to schedule a free consultation. That should be the only objective here on this landing page. All right. So with that said, let's go to example number 4. All right. So here we are with example number 4. And so far, I like what I see. Now, I forgot to put an above the fold line, but I'm going to go ahead and assume that everything above this form here is above the fold. Okay. So everything above this form here is what people will see upon clicking their ad above the bottom of the form, just to be specific. Okay. So top left here, proudly serving Winter Springs, Florida and surrounding areas. Great. Location specific. I love it. And then we have say a review element, right? So we have a nice Google review little widget here. Again, it's real. It's the how do I say? It's the real Google, the native Google colors from the review stars to the Google font, right? So good. It's what people are familiar with seeing. And then we have the headline here, professional dog trainers in your Winter Springs, Florida area. I should have underlined the word your because that's a nuanced but important thing. And whoever wrote this page knew what they were doing. Because you have to remember, guys, like we're not talking to 1,000 people at once. Like we have to remember there's one person who's on your landing page that's reading this. And so when you're writing on your landing page, you want to speak to that individual, right? And by using first person language like dog trainers in your Winter Springs, Florida area, you're like, oh, they're talking to me. And I do live in Winter Springs, Florida. So it resonates a bit more, right? And then here we have just a real simple subhead, get your dog to listen and obey your every command every time, right? So that falls into where they want to be, right? So relevance, we have where they are quite literally in Winter Springs, Florida, but where they want to be, right? Get your dog to listen and obey your every command. Well, that sounds like a desirable outcome that I want with my dog every time, right? So it's very good. And then we have some bullets here, training that lasts, right? 10 years of experience. We train all breeds and behaviors, serving Winter Springs, Florida, and surrounding areas. So good little bullets, right? And they could have expanded this with 2, 3, 4 paragraphs, but it wouldn't have got anywhere. Instead, it's just 4 bullets that people can read and digest very easily. All right, and then they have the form here. Schedule your free dog training consultation, complete the form below. So earlier on example 1, when there was a discrepancy between the evaluation form link and the CTA at the bottom of the page, the orange CTA button, this is a great example of what they should have done, right? So it's very clear, right? Schedule your free dog training consultation, complete the form below. It's very intuitive. It's very easy to go, oh, this form right here, great, schedule my consultation, right? So this is good. I like it. Okay, so now this is exactly what I was talking about as far as using real images compared to stock images. You can see how, and I even saved example number 3 here, but you can see how using an image like this with what seems to be the owner with his wrapped van compared to a random yellow lab will do so much more work in building trust with the user who's on this page, right? I can't stress it enough. Use real images. Do not use stock images, guys. Very powerful. Transparency, perceived value. A dog trainer near me, short sentences. Okay, so here's a good example of, not using big walls of text, but instead using, 1 to 2 to 3 sentences, right? Whereas on this one, it's short sentence, or rather, they're using short sentences, which is good, but it's just it's not quite enough. Where if they did just another couple more sentences, something like this, it would have been a bit better. Okay, so they're using short sentences, which is nice. This is something subtle, but I would, add review stars with a review snippet. So like 5, similar to what this is, I would add this, but like right above the CTA, and maybe like a short snippet of a review that someone left. Right, highly recommend State of Canine Dog Training. They've changed my life. You put that right above the CTA, it just makes someone confident that if they're about to take that action, that they're making a good decision, right? Okay. So I personally would probably just remove the phone number, but really not a big deal. Okay, so to dive back into where they are. So again, if you haven't watched video 3, go watch it because this is what I'm referencing. So simple and effective bullets. Okay, so where they are, right? So eliminate bad behavior now. So remember, someone who's made it to this page has recognized that they have issues that they're dealing with. Now they're here on your landing page. We want to let them know, hey, we understand what you're dealing with, right? We want to resonate with where they are now. And this does a great job at doing that. And again, they're using bullet points, which is great. People are going to actually read this and see this, and they just have a nice 2 sentence subhead at the bottom. I like it. Again, using real images, locations we serve, transform your dog's behavior. So this section here really dove into where they are and the problems they're dealing with. And then this section here dives into where they want to be, right? The desired outcome. Imagine a life where you and your dog can explore the world together, right? We call that future pacing in marketing, right? So what they're doing is they're future pacing the life you could have, and they're getting you to imagine it, right? Like, oh, wouldn't that be nice? And then, all right, go ahead and take action and schedule your free consultation, right? So where they want to be. So nice intuitive guidance. Okay, so in example 1, when we were talking about, I'll go ahead and pull it up at the bottom of his landing page when he had a how to get started section. Um, so this is okay, right? But it's vertical. There's pretty big sentences here, and there's a disconnect between the link and the button. Whereas this is horizontal from left to right. So it's like there's a progression to it, right? And it's simply just an image with a few words, an arrow, and so on and so forth. And it's very easy for you to read this and go, oh, schedule a call, get a tailored plan, and start training. Cool. I would add a CTA right here. They don't have one, not a big deal. But anyways, so let's see. So again, just wanted to point out bullet points. This is CTA number 6. So this is something that is important, and I touched on it a minute ago, or one of the examples we did, where guys, you want to make sure you have more than just one CTA button at the top, right? Like put 5, 6, 7 of those things throughout your landing page. Make it easy for people to find them. Make it easy for people to click it. So this is CTA number 6, which is good. Then they have their social proof here. All right, so this is again what I'm talking about using a native Google review widget, right? We can see the Google review logo up there, Google review stars. You have the user's image with their name and the date. This looks like a legitimate review that actually is coming from Google, okay? And people can go about reading these if they'd like. And you can see like this is probably a strategic play by whoever created this landing page, because like I had said earlier, most people aren't going to scroll much further down than here. But for those who do keep scrolling, that means you've won their attention, and so far they like what they see, but they're still on the fence. They're like, okay, he lives in my area. Okay, he recognizes my issues. Okay, he understands the desired outcome I want. All right, cool. Here's how I can get started. But maybe I'm just still on the fence. Like, okay, cool. At this point, there's a bunch of social proof, which will support everything that I just scrolled through. So when at this point, when I'm reading these reviews and they're talking about how awesome this guy is, I'm like, you know what? Cool. Let's go ahead and take the leap and get started. Okay, so by having the reviews at the bottom just helps get people who are on the edge to move forward. And people who are at the bottom of your landing page, people who've made it this far, are likely in that state of on the fence about it, and you can nudge them with things like this at the bottom of your landing page. Okay, so let's go to the next landing page. All right, so example number 5, and I think by far this is my favorite landing page so far. So let's see, above the fold, here let's recognize that now. So everything above here is what people are going to see upon clicking the ad, and let's dive into it. So right off the bat, I have a couple things that I personally would add, which is social proof and adding the offer. So as you could see, they have a nice, schedule your $1 first lesson, which is a great offer. It's very similar to the free evaluation offer. Um, but they should put that somewhere where it stands out a bit more. Right now, it's kind of hidden in this CTA button. And I personally would just add, somewhere, perhaps above this image, right? Schedule your your $1 uh, first lesson. And then social proof, I would add a bit of social proof. I'm always a big, proponent of adding social proof above the fold, simply because it just helps support the things that you have on your page. And so I'm always a big proponent of adding social proof at the top. And then we have dog training in Irving, Texas, right? So they're, calling out the location. It's good. We have bullet points. It's good. It's easy for people to read. And then let's see, expanding on offer and where they want to be plus CTA. So here they expand on this offer, right? And so a single dollar can't get you much these days, but it can start your dog on their journey to becoming an obedient companion. Like what a juxtaposition, right? Like for only $1, your dog can become an obedient companion, right? So it's like, oh, well, that seems like a no-brainer. So I like the copy that they wrote here, expanding on this offer, and then I love that they have the text schedule your $1 first lesson, and that's important, right? Like this is much more powerful than just putting get started, right? And so I like how they have that on the CTA, the text that they have on the CTA there. Bu- 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 bu. Okay, so guaranteed results, safety net, where they want to be or where they are and where they want to be, right? So this dives into, their current situation, right? Whether your dog is aggressive, anxious, rambunctious, we can help transform your lovable pet into a well-behaved companion that you deserve, right? And so again, they're addressing where you are right now and where you want to be. In the red, are you struggling? In the green, lay the foundation for a better behaved pup. In the red, if your dog displays territorial or hostile conduct. In the green, leading to this will help calm their antagonistic behavior, leading to a more peaceful and satisfied pup, right? Picture this again, similar to the last landing page where they're saying, imagine a life where your dog is walking on the leash. Picture this. It's the same concept of future pacing and giving people an idea of what their life could be like if you worked with them being this company. All right, let's keep going. Again, where they want to be, where they are. I'm going to speed things up a bit. If you want to, look more at what's on the landing page here, just give this video a pause. But again, they're just diving into where they want to be and where they are right now, right? Here's the issues they're dealing with. This would be an outcome that they would love to have, I'm sure. Again, using another CTA, safety net here, right? Our skilled dog trainers take pride in fixing 95% of common behavior issues within just 2 to 4 weeks. We guarantee it. Right? So now they're making this specific promise. They're giving you like statistics saying 95% of the time this works within just 2 to 4 weeks, and they guarantee it. It's a great safety net, and you can get started for only $1. Right? So I hope you guys are starting to see some patterns here. And as long as you can puzzle together this formula of safety nets and basically all this criteria I have here, you're going to kill it with with Google ads, okay, and Facebook ads. Honestly, these same principles apply. Okay, so at this point, I would add some social proof. But again, we dive into the first lesson, we dive more into the programs. Personally, I would, at this point, add some social proof, right? Because they've talked about some awesome stuff. They made some nice promises, but we still don't have any social proof yet. I would have replaced this section with social proof. I think it's about time for that. And then they have this video here, right? Again, using real images with their truck in the background, right? And the logo back there, that's awesome. W and W means where they are, where they want to be, right? Again, are you tired of endless training, right? Um, mm, okay, cool. Let's keep going. Social proof. So now we have some social proof. Excuse me. I love it. They have videos of happy clients talking about the results that they've gotten. This is awesome. And then this is, if you can do this, this is even better. they did a bit of a combo here. So we have the videos of the client testimonials, but then we also have the native Google review widget at the bottom, which is great. It just makes this even more powerful. You can't, it's really hard to have too much social proof, guys. Location served, it's important. Again, this is CTA number 7. This is the 7th time that they put the CTA here, right? All CTAs lead to the same form, right? And so sometimes people will have multiple CTAs that lead to different things. Don't do that. All CTAs should lead to one form if it's a form that you want people to fill out. All right, now let's go to example number 6, the final example. All right, so landing page number 6, and I can already tell this is another landing page that I like. Let's go ahead and dive into it a bit here. So at the top here, we have the headline, and I wrote specific. So let's see. How to fix your dog's embarrassing behavior with Long Island's premier board and train facility. So it's a specific thing, right? They're addressing like a specific issue, how to fix your dog's embarrassing behavior with Long Island, so they're the location that they're in, premier board and train facility, right? So for someone who is, and they're probably running for this landing page, they're probably running ads for people who are specifically typing in a board and train related service. So if someone's typing in, if someone lives in Long Island, right, and they've been dealing with a bunch of issues with their dogs and they're embarrassed about taking their dog to the park. They're embarrassed about having people over. They live in Long Island and they go to Google to type in board and train near me. It doesn't get much more relevant than this. And again, if we look at the criteria here, relevance, okay? Doesn't get much more relevant than this. So this is a really good headline. I like this headline a lot. And then we have the CTA. Again, a great CTA. For one, it stands out. So you have this blue background, nice yellow button, so it stands out. But if you look, they use first person language, so reserve my free evaluation. And it's just a good offer, right? A free evaluation. So good CTA there. Again, real images. You can tell these are real people who work at the company. You can tell this is the owner. They're wearing their shirts, right, that have the logo. It's nice, right? It's a lot better than a stock image of just random people. Um, and then there's no social proof. So I personally, like I said, I always am a fan of adding social proof above the fold. They don't have it here. I would add it. Okay. So earlier we were talking about in example number 3, the carousel here that they had at the bottom that just included things like, Instagram and Google, like useless. But here, it's a bit more credible, like, right? These are well-known media channels, right? Media networks, rather. Fox News, NBC, CBS, Market Watch. So when you see these, you can be like, oh, this is a very, credible company, as opposed to an Instagram logo or a Google logo, right? So this is a good use of this element here, this trust element. Okay, so credibility, trust, great. That's me, right? So again, we're talking about relevance, right? Where they are, dear Long Island dog owners. So they're calling out dog owners who live in Long Island, and I'm sure that they're targeting people who live in Long Island, right? So makes sense. And then this is the video here that he has. And then down here, so call out plus where they are. So we have the call out, which is dear Long Island dog owners, and then we have where they are. Are you embarrassed by your dog's behavior, right? Want a dog trainer to make your dog stop barking or jumping all over your guests, right? So they're calling out where the person is right now. Oh, and I put this is me. So, right, so that's me. I'm a Long Island dog owner, and this is me too. Right, so you can see how being able to resonate with where they are now is so important. You want them to feel like you are talking to them directly. Like, holy crap, this guy knows me. Okay, strategically well placed CTA. I love how they did this here, right? So if you're reading this and you're caught up in it, like, okay, I'm a Long Island dog owner. Yes, I'm embarrassed by my dog's behavior, da da da. If you answered yes to any of these questions, which there's a good chance you're nodding your head yes while you read these, then reserve your free evaluation. Here's a CTA. I love this is very well placed, and I like how they did that there. So where they want to be, transform your dog today, right? So now you have a CTA that is conveying the outcome, the desired outcome that they want, right? So transform your dog today. Click. So safe. Okay, so here we have a bit of some safety, right? Again, using a safety net, reducing risk. No commitment required. Social proof. Happy clients. Love it. They also added a widget down here, a real native Google review widget. Love it. Another CTA. Another CTA. Where they are, where they want to be. Safety, trust. Okay, so let's see what we got here. I like what I see so far, but I'm not convinced yet. What if it doesn't work out? I'm worried about leaving my dog. I've tried others in the past. Okay, so this is for someone who, this could be conversations that are happening in someone's head. And as you can see, this is further down the page. So for most people, this page would have already won them over and they probably would have clicked this button or this button up here and gotten started. For some people, they require a little more work. And so they're going to continue to scroll. They're going to read the reviews and go, okay, that's good, that's good. And then, but they might have some lingering thought going on in their mind. And it could be something like, man, well, what if this doesn't work out though? I'm worried about leaving my dog, right? Like I don't, I love my dog. I don't want to leave him at a 3 week board and train without me there. Makes me nervous. I've tried other trainers in the past. It didn't work out. That's what they're doing here. They're confronting those objections that people would have, especially in the context of a board and train, right? Um, so if you're worried about things not working out, they offer free unlimited dog training, phone, and email support. And then they have a satisfaction promise. Okay. CTA number 10 we have here. Okay. Oh, and then look, see, don't lose hope if you tried other trainers. Okay, so they're confronting that objection that people might have of like, man, I've already tried other trainers in the past. And so they're scrolling through this page and they like what they see and they believe you can help them, but they've tried other trainers in the past and it really bothers them. So for you to be able to confront that right here and go, don't lose hope if you tried other trainers is a great way to get in front of it and build trust with the person who might be a bit concerned about whether or not this will work for them. And then they have, handling more common concerns or objections going on in a visitor's mind. They do that via the FAQ section here. All right, so that is it for the landing page examples. We're going to go ahead and do a quick bonus example, and then I'm going to dive into the landing page structure template that will be available for you guys for free in the description below. Don't need your email, don't need any of your info. It's completely free. I think you guys are really going to love it. So let's go ahead and keep it moving. All right, so here we are with the bonus example. Okay, so we've gone through 6 landing pages so far, and now we have this bonus example. So this is not an entire, or rather, this isn't a full landing page. This is just the above the fold section, and it's probably my favorite one so far. So to me, this above the fold section hits all the markers that I like to see. They have the reviews, they have specificity, they have an offer, they have a clear CTA, and so let's get into it. So right at the top, we have this banner here. They're veteran owned, free consultation, all breeds and behaviors. Right. So this is just a quick way for someone to land on this page. We have a bit of a trust element there with the veteran owned. We have an offer element with the free consultation, and then we have all breeds and behaviors. So for whatever dog you have, whatever age it is, whatever the breed or behavior is, they can fix that. And so it's nice for people to be able to see that quickly with this banner here. And then below that, we have the 5 stars. And what's nice about this is it's not just an image of 5 stars, it's an image of 5 stars with some text that adds some more specificity. So rated 5 out of 5 stars with over 150 reviews, right? So they're expanding on it, they're being a bit more specific, which lends more credibility. And then down here we have more social proof, and this is actually a client. It shows their name, it shows their, their Google profile image, and then their review. Life-changing results with a quick little story, right? And so that's nice. I really like all those things. And then we have the headline here, unlock your dog's full potential, right? So that's kind of a, where they want to be. Unlock your dog's full potential with Christian Canine Academy, your Columbus area dog training experts. Okay, so I really like this headline. I think it's pretty good. Let's see, and then we have the subhead here. So it's, 2 sentences long. It's not too much text. It's just it's right on the border of too much, but this is about as much as you want as far as blocks of text. And then if you need to add more, just create a second block. From basic obedience to advanced service and protection training, we offer customized programs to meet your dog's unique needs. So this, this subhead isn't really too special. It's decent. It's not bad. But it's not doing as much heavy lifting as these reviews here. And then you have this nice form that stands out. You got a good offer, get a free dog training consultation, complete this form, schedule a free consultation for the CTA. That's pretty good. And then right here, we have a sticky bar. So what that means is when you do scroll down on this landing page, this bar down here stays there. This isn't something we've done for any of our clients. I like that they did it. It's certainly something to test out, but it's one of those things where you can either add a lot of CTAs throughout your landing page, at least 5, anywhere from 5 to 10, or you can, add a few less CTAs, but have this sticky bar with the CTAs there that stays at the bottom of the page as people scroll through it. So I wanted to just show you guys this above the fold section. I think it's designed well, and I think it has all the elements that I like to see in a good above the fold section. So now let's dive into the landing page structure template. Okay, so landing page structure template. Before we get into it, I just want to take a minute, take a step back. This has been a long video with a lot of information. If you've made it this far in the video, I want to congratulate you because most people don't have an attention span good enough to make it this far through a video. And I really hope that you've gotten some value. Rest assured, if you follow what I've been telling you throughout this video and you apply what you learned so far, you are going to get good results from your Google Ads. You're going to make a profit. You're going to make some money. Right? So to quickly summarize what we've covered so far, we have gone over what a landing page is, why we use landing pages, right? We have a criteria list of what should be on your landing page, and we went ahead and reviewed some landing pages together. Now we're going to go ahead and end it off with the landing page structure template. And my goal with this template here is to give you guys a path to follow so that when you put together your landing page, you'll know what sections should be where and what should be included in those sections. And again, this is totally free. Link below, download this landing page structure template. It's absolutely yours. No email required. Have it. Okay, so let's dive into it really quick here. Landing page structure template. All right, so here we have a landing page and all of its sections. And right here, we have the heading, which is the title of the section. And then all these blue bullet points represent the content that should be within the section. Okay, so we have the hero section / above the fold. Those are used interchangeably. And within that section should be an offer, bullets, social proof, a call to action button, your logo, your location, and phone number, right? And right here we have certifications and awards. This would be your problem section, where they are now. If you haven't watched video 3, go watch it. Otherwise, you're not really going to understand this reference too much. And then we have within the problem section, you want to list out common problems, common pain points, things they've tried in the past to no avail, and then of course include a CTA button. Then we have the benefits / features section. Okay, so here is where you can talk about, what makes your service convenient or easy for people, right? Do you offer pickup and drop off, right? Things like that. Do you drive to them for the private lessons? Safety, right? So guarantees, things like that. Experience, trust. And then we have the social proof section. Okay, so here's our social proof section. Review slider. You can add a review slider. You can add a review gallery. You don't have to add all of these. Definitely add a CTA, but if you have testimonial videos, absolutely add those and consider adding, in addition to the videos, a slider or a gallery, an image gallery / collage, which is what this is here. I recommend using Elf Site. So Elf Site is a great place where you can for like I think it starts out at like $6 a month. You can embed native Google review widgets to your landing page, and they look really good. They look really professional. We use them for all of our clients. So go ahead and check out Elf site if you want. Let's go ahead and go down a bit more here. Then we have the services section. So this is where all your services should go in this section. The name slash type of program, 2 to 3 sentence description, at most 3 sentences, real images, differences slash benefits of each program, and of course a CTA button. And this will be your safety net slash low risk section, right? So if you have a guarantee, dive into the guarantee and give some details. Handle some common objections and concerns someone might have if they tried training in the past, right? Add a CTA button. And then at the bottom here, we have the image gallery where it's just more images. And I put in quotations here the experience because you really want to, when you're putting images, you don't just want to put random images. Like keep in mind what you're trying to accomplish with the images is really give someone an idea of what the experience is like to work with you and your company, right? Like so show images of happy clients, show images of you training dogs, show images of your facility, right? So have some brand visibility, like showing images of your wrapped vehicle, show images of happy dogs together at your facility, and then of course add a CTA button. But what we're really trying to do here is sell people the vision of what it is like to work with you. Okay. And then of course at the bottom here we have locations we serve and just add all the cities that it is that you serve. All right. So that is it for the landing page blueprint video. Sure hope you guys have got some value from it. If you did, make sure you like the video. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. And that's it. I will see you in video number 5.